Colleen from Durham says, it feels like I have tried just about everything to lose weight with nothing working. Any advice? We have so many patients who say this, don't we?
There's always a solution, Colleen.
Yeah.
There always is. And I think if you can get a grip on what you're doing, if you know what you're doing with precision from an intake standpoint, and you know what you're doing with precision from an activity standpoint, and you understand kind of where you're at behaviorally, now we can work with you as far as medication, but it's going to take a change. I always say you can't do the same thing and get a different result. You just won't. I have people come, for years, I had people who would come in and tell me, I'm doing this, that, and I would suggest maybe, this is kind of like before low carb was popular. Mm-hmm. And they would tell me how they were doing all this low fat stuff. And mm-hmm. They didn't understand why they weren't losing weight. I would suggest low carb, and they were like, but I'm already doing the right thing. And I'm like, and it's not working. Okay. If it was working, you wouldn't be sitting in my office today. So we got to make a change, right?
And it's hard because a lot of us are told by our providers, you need to just do it harder. Like, eat less calories, eat less fat, exercise more. But honestly, if something's not working, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to do it harder. It means you need to do something different. That's
right. That's it. So that's the first principle right there. So we've run into this by the way with low carbers. Now low carb popular. We run into people that really do low carb, they get stuck. Mm-hmm. Okay. Maybe it's a matter of putting them on medicine. Maybe they're exercising too hard.
Yeah. And we even have a question about plateaus from ethyl. What do we do? And the same answer. Yeah. We change something.
You got to change. Your body memorizes. It's an efficient biological organism. Mm-hmm. It memorizes exactly what you're doing and adjusts accordingly. Mm-hmm. So you'll have to make some changes, and we'll need to sit down and talk with you. If you're not a patient, this will be a good time to become one. Yeah. If you are a patient, it's a good time to come back. Yeah. We can help you, and you need to tell us where you're at, and then we need to get a grip on what you're doing, and then so that we can kind of then make some constructive suggestions on how are we going to break this, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. How are we going to break this?
Thank you, Ethel, for that. It was actually really pertinent to the questions that were done.
A lot of times, maybe at that point you're just on one medication. Maybe you need a different dosage of the medication. Maybe you need a second medication. That may just be a move that simple to break that plateau that you're on.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, exactly. So don't feel discouraged, right? A lot of folks feel the same way. That I've done everything. And that doesn't mean you've tried everything that there is out there, right? So
one other rule I always tell people, I said, if you want to just break it down, you don't, it's not like when you go to medical school or the nurse practitioner school that you get all the special information sometimes that no one else has. There are some things that are universally true, and I always say in starving countries where there's famine, people do not die overweight. Mm-hmm. They don't. They die very, very thin. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, now that intermittent fasting is popular, I tell people a fast will always break a plateau.
It's something we suggest a lot.
That's right. So if you're looking for a simple answer, now a lot of people can't do it without medication, mm-hmm. right? And they can't do it unless they kind of got adjusted to a low carb diet first and got used to burning fat. Yeah. But something like that is actually something that always works. And it's based on that principle. Your body cannot, under the circumstances of forced starvation, it cannot remain overweight. Mm-hmm. It has to yield, and it will, and that will break any plateau. Yeah.